Hey, Travis Watkins here. Just coming at you live here on Facebook to talk a little bit today about some full pay strategies with the IRS. In other words, how do you pay them in full? All these things that I've been talking about over the last couple of days are all in my book. Looks like I've gone offline here. Maybe I'm back online. All right. Yeah, pick up my book at traviswatkinsbook.com. I've been going into a little deeper dive on some of the strategies outlined in that book that's been out for a couple of years now, and we'll be making a new book with the strategies that we're outlining here in these Facebook Lives. But let's talk about full pay strategies today. We've talked in previous days about what you do if you've got significant equity. In other words, you own property, or your net disposable income, that amount that you make every month minus the amount of money that the IRS allows you to spend your money on. Those are called allowable expenses. If those things are too high, or you own too much property, the IRS is going to look to those assets, to that money first, before giving you any type of a deal with them. So we've talked about how to maximize your expenses in a legitimate way. And the legitimate way on that is, let's say you have big retirement accounts, or if you have a home that is free and clear of any mortgages, for instance, then you can liquidate those amounts and pay off some of your debt to the IRS. You would also, if you need to live on those things, those are things that the IRS would allow you to spend your money on every month. So if you had a significant retirement account there, the IRS is going to consider that account to be theirs anyway in the collection process. So you might as well get the biggest bang for your buck out of those types of assets, and take the proceeds and spend that money to go towards things that the IRS would accept, like food, clothing, health, shelter, welfare, transportation. We've looked at vehicle ownership costs and vehicle operating costs. Also, those are the things that the IRS would allow you to spend that money on, so you need to kind of delve it out for those things that they would consider to be an IRS allowable expense. All right. So what we're talking about here today is those types of things where we can, like your house, for instance, if you've got significant equity there, then you can ask the IRS for some more time. Typically, they will give you up to about 120 days if you tell them, "Hey, I'm coming into some money here pretty quickly. Hold off on the levies and the liens, and I'll pay you." The IRS will say, "Okay, we'll give you a little bit of grace period there, like up to 120 days, to allow you to make a home sale, for instance, or let a home sale that's pending go through." Now, that doesn't always mean that they're not going to file a lien necessarily in the process, and so that's kind of what we're talking about here too. Is, let's say that you want to liquidate some money from your home, for instance, and let's say that you've got a federal tax lien on it, which is pretty common. And I get real estate people, real estate agents and their clients that come in here all the time, and they just found out that they, while they're in the process of trying to sell their home, that they have IRS liens on it. And if the sale of the home is going to be enough to pay off the IRS, and especially if you've got a home sale coming right down the pipe, the IRS doesn't cut just a whole lot of deals in that situation, because you have really no leverage there. There's no, they know they've got you because you need to close, for instance, under a contract with a seller. So what do you do when you have a federal tax lien on there also? in addition to any buyer that might be running screaming if they find out that there is a IRS lien there in place, what you can do is call up the IRS and figure out what the amount of that lien is going to be that needs to be paid off, and they will allow you to essentially go through with closing and to pay them in the process. Why not? It's easy money for them. Let me show you a couple of things here. Let me switch to the desktop if I can. There we go. Here's who you would be calling. It's these collection advisory group numbers and addresses, and I pulled this straight off of irs.gov. Here's the group right here, Centralized Lien Operation. They are, there's their address there, Centralized Lien Operation, P.O. Box 145595, stop 8420G. That's in Cincinnati, Ohio, 45250. And their phone number is 800-913-6050. Again, 800-913-6050. You can call them and they will send you a letter that looks very much like this one. It's letter 3641, and it shows you the amount on the tax liabilities included on the notices of federal tax liens filed against, and I've blacked out the identifiers here on the taxpayer for their privacy, but right there in pretty much the header, they will give you the lien payoff amount. In this case, it was $68,181.55, computed to 1/7 of 19. That letter went out almost a month before that, back on December the 11th, 2018. So right there, that you can show your closing company so that they'll go ahead and close with the federal tax lien there, and it gives directions there on what will happen, and you can hand that right off to the closing company, and they'll include that in your closing paperwork so the IRS gets paid off in full when you go to close, and that would allow you to go ahead and close so you don't breach your contract with your buyer, for instance, so you can go ahead and go through with the sale. All right, so that's the situation with a federal tax lien where you are not really contesting the thing. You're just saying, hey, I'm going to have enough money here at the end of the day to get you paid, IRS. Please let me close on this thing. And as you can see, don't expect these things to be overly quick either. When the IRS has a lien there in place, and you're asking them really to do anything, even if it's just pay them off, that is the quickest way to get them to respond. But let's talk about a couple of different scenarios here. Let's say, let me switch back to the main here. Let's say that you wanted to go ahead and pay off the IRS, but it's not going to completely satisfy their lien. The IRS's lien is a super priority lien. In other words, it takes the top priority as against most creditors, and they are pretty particular about lifting that lien, even though most IRS collection officials will tell you when you go to ask them for any type of a payment arrangement, be it a settlement or an installment agreement, they're going to want you to prove to them that you've gone and tried to at least get a loan on these things. But we're talking about full pay strategies here, so same type of situation. You would need to go to the IRS and have them take off their first position there. They call it subordinate their position to, for instance, another lender, a bank in that scenario, so that you could go get, say, like a home equity line of credit or something to pay some of your debt, albeit maybe not the entirety of that lien amount that you've checked on. And by the way, you need to do these things. You do need to try to liquidate some things, because again, that's any equity that's hanging out there from your home, for instance, or any bank accounts or retirement accounts that have money in them that aren't assigned to some thing that the government allows you to spend your money on. Those allowable expenses they think is there. So let's switch back here. I'll show you what you do from there. You should pull back up that collection advisory group number and address. Let's go full screen here. And you can look down here at the state of Oklahoma. If you need to call the lien department there, then you would go to number 7 address and phone number, and that's the Plantation, Florida address there at 7850 Southwest 6th Court, MS 5780, Plantation, Florida 33324. And the phone number there is 954-991-4008. And what the folks in Plantation, Florida will essentially do is kick you over here to number 21, the other that we just talked about, address and phone number at 55 North Robinson here in Oklahoma City, 5021-73102 there in Oklahoma City. And the phone number there is 982-6604, and there's their fax number, 855-564-4242. And again, the reason you'd be calling them in this situation is you want them to subordinate their lien so that you can get some money from a lender and essentially pay off a portion of the IRS debt that's against you. And that's as I mentioned, a pretty not fast set of prospects there. The IRS takes at least 30 days to subordinate their lien, and they're going to ask you to fill out some paperwork in that process there too in order to get that lien subordination and to full pay them or partially pay them some cash that comes from that sale or that loan transaction. They're going to want to know what the home is worth. They're going to want to know what other lien holders are out there. They want to know when this thing is going to close or the loan transaction is going to occur. And it's an intrusive thing, just like anything is whenever you ask the IRS for some help or some relief. But again, you do need to do this because any equity that's hanging out there they think is theirs. If you are far enough along in the collection process, they can indeed take those assets. They can get at that equity. Now, everybody always asks me, if there's not substantial equity, or if it's upside down in the process, the home, for instance, are they going to come and throw me out of it? And the answer to that is probably not. They look at these seizures from the standpoint of how much do they have to pay out to other lien holders, how leveraged is it, for instance. But if you do have a free and clear home out there, in other words, you don't owe anyone on it, you don't owe any money against it, then you definitely need to look at liquidating it in some manner, and to do so before any of these liens go on there, because as you can see, it's kind of a process an intrusive process to get them to do it, and you just don't have a whole lot of time in most circumstances to get it done. Again, a lot of these things are outlined in my current book, which is available at traviswatkinsbook.com up there at the top. And if you need immediate assistance with the tax problem, please give us a call. 800-721-7054 is the number there. And I hope you're getting something out of these things. I'm having a lot of fun making them for you and doing it all here for free. Of course, if you would like us to do it for you, we are standing by and we're available at 800-721-7054. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day.